After just one term in Congress, Grand Rapids native Peter Meijer was ousted in the August primary.
His opponent, John Gibbs, is a former Trump administration official who wanted Meijer out of a job over his vote to impeach former President Trump.
But now Gibbs faces a new 3rd district that unmistakably leans Democrat. The more Republican stronghold areas like Ionia, Berry, and Calhoun counties that Peter Meijer carried in 2020 are gone.
What's new are those areas of southern Muskegon and northern areas of Ottawa counties. We don't know what'll happen with the new counties, but we do know that the core of the district, Kent County, stuck around. And with a change in lines comes a change in candidates.
Doug Reardon sat down with Gibbs to talk about what else he'd do differently than Meijer.
From day one, John Gibbs has painted himself as the more conservative choice and is much more aligned with the former president. He called Meijer's impeachment vote a betrayal and a deal breaker for red voters and said it was the main reason behind his decision to run.
I kind of realized that there was a leadership gap back home, especially after the congressional vote that was taken against the president of our own party.
John Gibbs doesn't hide his ties to the Trump administration. In fact, he openly embraces them. After degrees from Stanford and Harvard and missionary work in Japan, Gibbs worked in the Trump HUD department and says Peter Meijer's vote to impeach the former president was a deal breaker in his decision to enter the race.
Many people were very betrayed by that and felt so.
But while Gibbs was able to convince voters to make him the Republican choice in the 3rd district, in November, Gibbs faces a new congressional map that lost conservative-leaning Berry, Calhoun, and Ionia counties and left behind the bluer areas of Kent County.
The new district is less Republican than it was before, but I believe that it is certainly very winnable.
While Gibbs only recently moved back to the district, he says he grew up near Lansing, just a few minutes drive from the border of the new 3rd Congressional. His top priority is reducing spending, and with it, inflation. His plan: Gibbs wants to trim the fat on a handful of federal agencies, something he said worked during his time at HUD.
There's actually ways we could do the exact same things we're doing now without cutting hardly anything, but simply by removing duplication, we're going to reduce the amount of money we're spending.
Gibbs is unapologetically pro-life and sees only one exception.
Yes, I think life of the mother. I want to see America where we have no abortion and where those innocent babies are being able to find a home.
Gibbs went on to say he also wants to build more pregnancy care centers and bolster the state's adoption infrastructure. Shortly after his run was announced, Gibbs came under fire for comments he had made in college regarding women in the workforce. As a student, he said, quote, "Women in the workforce is not beneficial," and that the United States has suffered as a result of women's suffrage.
That was basically a joke. We were trolling the liberals on campus, being a small conservative minority. Obviously, I don't believe any of the claims that are being made out there. I have great women that work on my staff, and my mom worked for 35 years for the state government, and that's why I'm where I am today.
Because of his time in HUD, Gibbs wants to cut red tape on building homes and starting businesses, reducing the tax burden for entrepreneurs. He also doesn't believe that President Biden's student loan forgiveness will solve the true problem of perpetual student debt.
Because many of the student loans out there are backed federally. They can keep increasing prices at the colleges ad infinitum, and because the loans are backed, you can keep increasing them no matter what. We've got to control the increase in prices, and we've got to control the way we do this whole student loan situation, or else if you do forgiveness today, you're going to have the exact same problem next year or the year after.
In the past, Gibbs has supported Trump's claims of election fraud in 2020 and said in our interview he thinks Michigan's policy of mailing out absentee ballot applications to all voters is, quote, reckless. He's concerned about the voter rolls being out of date and said the danger exceeds any benefits, even though a record-breaking 3.3 million Michiganders voted absentee in 2020. In the studio, Doug Reardon, Fox 17 News.